very hello and a very warm welcome to Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. He is what one calls the consummate politician, a product of a well-engineered PR machinery that has successfully portrayed him as the paragon of good governance and economic development. A winning strategy that has seen Narendra Modi win 3 successive terms as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and one that seems capable of taking him straight to 7 racecourse roads. But off late, a series of apparent PR blunders seem to indicate that Modi is shifting away from this tried and tested approach to a more right-wing agenda. Is Brand Modi then in danger of going over to the dark side, or does the religion card still work miracles? Nikhil Sivadas finds out.
In the dog-eat-dog world of Indian politics, Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi is being tagged as a designer politician, be it his prowess over technology to connect with voters. Selling the vibrant Gujarat story to external and internal stakeholders.
गुजरात वाइब्रेंट समिट में आने के लिए निमंत्रण देता हूं और मुझे विश्वास है आप अवश्य आएंगे.
Or this sheer strategic brilliance in cracking global partnerships. There was little that he had not done right, and it was common consensus until not very long ago that Brand Modi was poised to take on the top job of the country. But alas, that momentum seems to have come to a screeching halt. Over the past few months, Narendra Modi seems to be running from one PR nightmare into another. A classic case of a brand overestimating its good innings. First came the controversial Modi's Rambo Act, where he took all the credit. After all, silence is another form of validation. And when things went spiraling down, his belated response just came across as lame. Then, the bombastic interview where Modi compared India's largest religious minority to puppies. And finally came large life-size posters stating that he was a Hindu nationalist.
I'm a born Hindu. Nothing is wrong. So I'm a Hindu nationalist. So you can say yes, I'm a Hindu nationalist.
These statements that are potentially suicidal for Modi's political ambitions.
I think he seems fumbled a little, and of course the remark about the puppy, I think, was in very bad taste, and B, politically it didn't make sense at all. He has overreached himself. Probably he's overconfident, which I think is part of his nature, if I gather it right.
The report that came out was a misrepresentation. That was not the truth. But the thing is that the Modi campaign did not move quickly enough to distance themselves. So they thought they were getting glory to begin with, and they kept quiet and took credit. Whereas had they sort of distanced themselves to begin with, the embarrassment that was later to follow would not have happened. So again, the eagerness to win some brownie points backfired.
He's not shrewd and subtle like Advani, for instance, who whenever he was asked this question said, I believe all Hindus are Indians and all Indians are Hindus. What is the term Indian but a term for Hindus? What is the term Hindu but a term for Indians? And he would divert it. If you asked Vajpayee exactly the same question, he would say, we are all nationalists, India is the greatest country, Hindustan. He would avoid a direct answer. Modi hasn't yet learned the game. He's not subtle enough to know how to bridge that divide.
When a regional brand aims to go national, it's of utmost importance that the brand takes a larger personality, wider appeal and style, and last but not the least, efficient distribution. So if Modi is aiming to be India's next head honcho, one thing that seems starkly absurd about his media strategy is the fact that he still has not shed his regional garb.
अगर हम मेहनत करके नमक पैदा करते हैं तो आप में कोई नहीं होगा जिससे गुजरात का नमक लगता है.
So far, his USP pivoted on him being a leader committed to growth and economic development. Words that India was quickly seduced by, given the country's desperation to fuel growth.
Modi Sarkar ne.
But bang in the middle of possibly the most crucial phase, the pre-elections, Modi has decided to change tack. And so, to ensure a larger connect with the rest of India, Modi has realized just tooting a song about Gujarat's success will only take him so far.
Modi as a chief minister has worked because he has won thrice and won with such vociferous eloquence, it is difficult to question him.
Modi as CM has worked for middle class Gujarat, for the people of Gujarat, for the NRIs of Gujarat. The process of being a Prime Minister is a much more gradual process. Modi doesn't come with a tradition of the national movement. Modi doesn't come with any kind of international or global victories. He's building himself up. So in one case, you're looking at an achievement. In the second case, you're looking at a process in the making. A process in the making will always show the candidate as vulnerable. I think his major blunder was in the fact that he for the first time looks error-prone, vulnerable. He no longer looks as a designer politician. His design seems to have stopped at stage 1. Stage 2 has become difficult for Modi because it's much more complex.
Which may be why in the recent months, Modi has started moving away from his pro-development agenda and started leaning towards the age-old BJP agenda of Hindutva. While Modi may be under the illusion that the religion card is what will get him noticed pan-India, what he seems to be forgetting is that he is reopening the chapter of his career that is best kept shut.
It is risky because, you are talking about opening out a chapter that for most people has been long dead and buried. And to believe in today's India that appeal works is a big risk to take. And it compromises, in some ways and cuts into the forward-looking development story that is simultaneously being mounted.
It's not clear what the Modi brand is. The way in which they've been projecting the Modi brand is a champion of the Hindu nation, which is a slightly worrying idea because that's a classic fascist positioning. Mussolini made the trains run on time. Hitler rescued Germany from the Weimar Republic and the chaos that followed the First World War. So I think India is not going to vote for somebody who bases his appeal on fascist positioning. If his brand is to have any value, he must portray himself as a man who took Gujarat, turned it around, and now offers to do the same to India. That's not what he's saying at the moment.
The danger here for Modi is that the Hindutva stance will potentially scare away a large portion of voters who are still undecided about him. And while both the BJP and Narendra Modi are well aware of this, the exercise at the moment is to test the waters. Here it's worth noting that the only BJP government to have been in power had a moderate Atal Bihari Vajpayee as a Prime Minister, instead of the more right-wing L.K. Advani, which immediately puts into perspective the BJP's recent attempts to project Modi's Hindutva leanings.
Narendra Modi makes very few mistakes. So it's unlikely that you could have had a series of 3 mistakes in sequence. I don't think that's his style. He could have made 1 mistake or a second mistake, but 3 mistakes, unlikely. So my sense is that he has been through what I call Modi image version 1 and Modi image version 2. He's just prepping the ground for Modi image version 3. And I think that you will not see this image till it's after Diwali. So in some senses, this is a time to watch where he's putting the pinpricks to see the public reaction and in some cases to extract the reaction, as it were, of the kind he wants.
Narendra Modi's change in tack has come at a hefty cost. His pro-development agenda was working just fine, with both India Inc. and the average Indian voter giving him some serious consideration. But thanks to him touring the Hindutva agenda, things are not so hunky-dory anymore. Playing the religion card may have worked a decade ago, or even a half a decade ago. But using it in today's economic environment may not have been Modi's wisest move. And while he may just be testing the waters, it's clear pro-Hindutva Modi has managed to kill what is otherwise a winning brand in the form of the pro-development Modi.